Good morning, dear friend. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, and I am genuinely glad you are here. I want you to notice something for just a moment. Yesterday, Monday arrived, and perhaps you met it with a quiet resolve. Maybe you prayed. Maybe you whispered a small intention to yourself before your feet touched the floor. Maybe you felt for just a brief window that this week could be different, that you could walk through it with a little more grace, a little more patience, a little more peace than the week before. And then Tuesday came, and somehow, without fully understanding why, the quiet determination you carried into Monday morning has already begun to feel a little more distant. The tasks are no longer hypothetical. The inbox is no longer empty. The conversations have already started happening, not always the way you hoped. The weight you set down for a moment has quietly found its way back onto your shoulders. Wherever you are right now as you listen to these words, maybe you are driving to work in the early morning darkness, watching the city wake up slowly around you. Maybe you are sitting at your kitchen table with a cup of something warm, cradled in both hands, not quite ready to face what the day is asking of you. Maybe you are still lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, already counting the demands waiting for you before you have even stood up. Wherever you are, I want to invite you to do something simple right now. Place one hand gently over your heart. Take one slow, full breath, deeper than you have breathed all morning. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And just for this moment, let this be a space where you do not have to be productive, impressive, or strong. Because here is what I believe with my whole heart this Tuesday morning. God's joy did not expire at midnight on Monday. His grace does not run on a weekly reset. His lifting presence is not reserved only for grand spiritual moments or the beginning of things. He is here, right now, in this ordinary, imperfect, already in motion Tuesday. And he has something for your heart this morning that the noise of the day has not yet offered you. So stay with me. Let us find it together. There is something particularly honest about a Tuesday. Monday still carries the shine of new beginnings. Wednesday earns its nickname as the hump of the week. Thursday feels like the descent toward rest. Friday is practically celebrated. But Tuesday simply asks you to keep going, without the ceremony of a fresh start and without the reward of a finish line anywhere in sight. If your heart feels a little heavier this morning than it did yesterday, I want you to know that is not a sign of weak faith. It is not a sign that last Monday's prayer didn't work, or that God is somehow more distant today than he was 24 hours ago. It is simply the honest, deeply human experience of living inside a week that has already begun to reveal its true weight. Perhaps the meeting yesterday did not go the way you prepared for. Perhaps a conversation left you with more questions than answers. Perhaps you went to bed last night carrying a quiet frustration about something you could not fully resolve. And you woke up this morning carrying it still, like a stone you forgot to put down before you fell asleep. Or perhaps there is nothing dramatically wrong. Perhaps it is simply the steady, accumulating exhaustion of responsibility, the invisible load of being needed by others, the slow drain of giving consistently without feeling consistently replenished. Some of you this morning are carrying grief. Not the loud, sudden kind, but the quiet, long kind. The grief of waiting for something that has not yet arrived, of hoping for something that still seems far away. Some of you are carrying anxiety that you can feel in your chest before you even fully understand what you are anxious about. Some of you are carrying a loneliness that is difficult to explain to anyone else, because from the outside, your life may look quite full. Whatever the specific shape of what you are carrying this Tuesday morning, I want you to hear this gently and clearly. You are not carrying it alone, and you were never meant to. I want to share something with you that I have come to call the Tuesday trap. It works like this. On Monday morning, many of us make a sincere and genuine decision to approach the week differently. We pray. We set intentions. We tell ourselves we will not let stress steal our peace this time. We feel a small but real surge of spiritual momentum. And because of that, Monday often goes reasonably well. Not perfectly, but there is an internal quality of resilience that carries us through. But then Tuesday arrives, and the trap springs. Because by Tuesday, the initial emotional energy of a fresh start has been spent. The situations we prayed over on Monday have not yet visibly changed. The relationships that needed healing are still complicated. The financial pressure is still real. The difficult conversation has either already happened and left us unsettled, or it is still coming and making us anxious. And without the psychological lift of a new week energy, we are left facing the raw reality of our actual circumstances, without the buffer of fresh resolve. And this is precisely the moment when joy feels most impossible. Not on Monday when hope is still shiny, not on Friday when relief is near, but here, on Tuesday morning, in the wide grey space between where we started and where we hoped to arrive. The enemy of your soul understands this pattern very well. He does not need to tempt you with something dramatic. He simply needs to wait until Tuesday morning, when your defenses are down, when your momentum has quieted, when the distance between your prayer and your visible answer seems the longest, and whisper one simple thing: nothing is changing. Nothing is going to change. The joy you felt on Sunday is already gone. And if we are not careful, we believe him. But here is the truth that breaks the Tuesday trap completely open. Nehemiah 8:10 does not say, "The joy of the Lord is your strength on Mondays." It does not say joy is only available at the beginning of something. It says the joy of the Lord is your strength. Present tense, ongoing tense, Tuesday morning tense. God's joy is not a one-time gift deposited into your spirit at the start of each week and then left for you to spend carefully until it runs out. It is a living spring. It does not deplete. It does not have an expiration date. And it is available to you this morning in exactly the place where you find yourself, not where you hope to be, but where you actually are. That changes everything. So what does it actually mean to let God's joy lift your heart on a Tuesday? It does not mean pretending the week is going beautifully when it is not. It does not mean manufacturing an enthusiasm you do not feel, or forcing a smile over a genuine and legitimate weariness. God has never asked that of you, and he is not asking it now. What it does mean is making a quiet, deliberate, faith-filled choice. Not because your circumstances have changed, but because you are choosing to anchor your heart in a truth that is bigger than your circumstances. It means turning your face toward the source of joy rather than toward the conditions that are trying to steal it. Psalm 16:11 holds a beautiful and deeply personal promise. In your presence there is fullness of joy, not fullness of answered prayers, not fullness of resolved problems, not fullness of comfortable circumstances, fullness of joy in his presence, which means the fullness is already available. The presence is already here. The only variable is whether we choose to step into it. This is what this morning's prayer is about, not a desperate attempt to convince God to fix everything before Tuesday is over, but a conscious, humble, expectant act of stepping into the presence where joy already lives, and letting that joy do what only it can do. Lift what you cannot lift yourself. Lighten what your own strength has been unable to lighten. Renew what the accumulated weight of the week has slowly been wearing down. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. This morning, waiting on the Lord is not passive. It is the most powerful thing you can do on a Tuesday. It is choosing before the emails, before the calls, before the demands, to let God be the first voice that speaks to your spirit today. And what he wants to speak over you this morning is this: I have not forgotten you. I am not finished. My joy is yours. Lift your heart to me, and I will lift it indeed. Before we move into prayer together, I want to invite you into a small but meaningful act of faith. Over the years, I have found that when we put words to what we believe, even simple words, even quietly typed words, something begins to shift inside us. We are not just consumers of truth in that moment, we become participants in it. So if you are feeling the weight of this Tuesday morning, if something in your spirit is quietly reaching for what we have been talking about, I want to gently invite you to type these words in the comments right now. Lord, lift my heart with your joy today. Do not type it as a routine gesture. Type it as an honest, personal declaration of your spirit, a quiet act of trust, a small but real signal to heaven and to yourself that you are choosing to receive what God is already offering. Type it. Let it be yours today. If this quiet space is bringing something helpful to your Tuesday morning, I also want to gently encourage you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Not to build a number or meet a metric, but because every time you do, it helps this prayer reach another person who may be sitting somewhere this morning, in the dark, before anyone else is awake, quietly desperate for exactly what we are sharing here. There is a whole community of people choosing to begin their days this way. You are part of that community, and your presence in it matters. Now take one more slow breath. Let your body settle. Let the noise of the morning grow a little quieter in your mind. You do not need to prepare anything. You do not need to arrive with the right words or the right emotional state. Simply come as you are, with your Tuesday weight, your Tuesday weariness, your Tuesday questions, and your Tuesday hope. Let us come before our Father. Lord, my God, my Father, on this Tuesday morning, I come before you exactly as I am. I do not come with the fresh momentum of a brand new week. I do not come with the clean emotional slate of a Sunday morning or the untouched hope of a Monday that has not yet been tested by reality. I come to you in the middle of a week that has already begun, with its complications, its conversations, its unresolved tensions, and its particular quiet demands. And I want to say this honestly before you, Father. I am grateful that you do not require me to arrive at your feet in perfect spiritual condition. I am grateful that your door is not only open at the beginning of things. I am grateful that Tuesday morning is not too ordinary, too late, or too messy for your presence. Because if I am being truthful, Father, this is exactly when I most need you. Not when everything is fresh and full of possibility, but here, in the middle. When the adrenaline of good intentions has quieted. When the gap between where I prayed I would be and where I actually am is most visible. When joy feels not like a natural overflow, but like something I have to consciously reach for. Lord, I believe that you are God of the middle as much as you are God of the beginning. I believe you are as present on the second day as the first. And so I come to you this Tuesday morning, not apologizing for needing you again, but grateful, deeply, genuinely grateful that I can. I place this day before you entirely, every hour of it, every conversation it will hold, every decision it will require, every moment where I will be tempted to rely on my own strength rather than yours. I lay it all open before you now, and I ask you simply, be present in it. Not as a distant observer, but as the living, active, joy-giving God that your word says you are. Fill this Tuesday, Father, from the very first moment to the last quiet breath before sleep. Let your presence be the thread that runs through every ordinary and extraordinary hour of this day. Father, I want to be specific with you this morning, because you already know the details, but something holy happens when we name what we are carrying rather than carrying it silently. There are things I brought into this week that I have not yet fully set down. I started Monday with good intentions, and yet somehow I managed to collect even more along the way. There are words that were said yesterday that I am still quietly processing. There are situations that did not move the way I hoped, and I have been dragging the disappointment of that into this morning like a heavy coat I forgot I was wearing. Some of what I'm carrying today is worry the kind that does not announce itself loudly, but sits just beneath the surface of every thought. A low, persistent hum of anxiety about things I cannot control, about outcomes I cannot guarantee, about conversations that have not happened yet and what they might bring, about the gap between what I need and what I currently have. Some of what I am carrying is emotional fatigue, the weariness that comes not from doing too much in a single day, but from carrying too much across too many days, the feeling of giving from a place of dryness, of showing up consistently for others while quietly wondering if anyone is showing up for you. And some of what I am carrying, Father, is the quiet grief of unfinished things, prayers that feel unanswered, situations that seem unchanged, hopes that I have been nurturing carefully, trying to keep alive, but which sometimes in the honest quiet of a Tuesday morning feel very fragile and very far from where I need them to be. I name all of this before you now, not as a complaint, but as an act of trust. Because your word says in 1 Peter 5:7 to cast all my anxiety on you because you care for me, not some of it, not the acceptable portion, all of it. So I open my hands this morning, Father, every burden I named and every one I forgot to name, the obvious heaviness and the hidden kind, the worries about today and the ones about 6 months from now. I release them all into your hands, not because I have the emotional strength to feel unburdened immediately, but because I trust that your hands are infinitely more capable than mine. Take what I have been carrying, exchange it for what only you can give. Give me the kind of lightness that does not depend on circumstances shifting, but comes from the simple, profound reality of no longer carrying alone what I was never designed to carry by myself. Let Tuesday begin right here, Father, with empty hands, with an open heart, with a spirit that has chosen once again to trust. Father, I want to ask you directly this morning for something I cannot manufacture on my own. I'm asking you to lift my joy. Not a performed happiness, not a surface-level positivity that dissolves the moment something goes wrong, not the kind of brightness that depends on good news arriving before noon. I am asking for the real thing, the deep, settled, unshakable joy that your word says belongs to every person who walks in your presence. Psalm 35 promises that joy comes in the morning. And I am here in the morning, Father. I am choosing to believe that promise is not a poetic expression, but a personal one, spoken to me on this specific Tuesday morning in the specific situation I am currently facing. I acknowledge honestly that I cannot lift my own spirit right now. I have tried. I have reasoned with myself. I have reminded myself of blessings. I have attempted to shift my perspective through sheer willpower. And while those things have their place, they are not sufficient for what I am carrying this morning. I need something from beyond myself. Your word in Nehemiah 8:10 does not say, try harder to feel joyful. It does not say, generate your own strength through positive thinking. It says, the joy of the Lord is your strength. That means the joy originates with you, Father. It flows from you. And my role is not to produce it, but to receive it. So today, I receive it, by faith before I feel it. I open my spirit like a window to a morning I cannot yet see clearly, and I say, let your joy come in. Let it move through the anxious corridors of my mind. Let it settle into the tired places in my heart. Let it reach into the specific situation that has been robbing me of peace. And let it do what nothing else can do, not remove the situation, but change the way I stand inside of it. I want to stand taller today, Father, not because my problems are smaller, but because my God is bigger. I want to speak with a voice that carries something steady in it, even when the day is uncertain. I want to look at the hours ahead, not with dread, but with expectation. Not because I know how everything will turn out, but because I know who is walking through every hour with me. John 15:11 holds one of the most personal promises in all of Scripture. Jesus said he told us these things so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. Complete, Father, not partial, not situational, not dependent on Tuesday going smoothly. Complete joy, available to me right now. Let me receive it fully today. Let it lift my heart from exactly where it is. Father, I want to pause here and thank you for something I have not always understood well. I used to treat joy the way I treat a weekly grocery list, something I stock up on during a Sunday service or a Monday morning prayer, and then try to make last through the week by rationing it carefully. And when Wednesday arrived and the joy felt depleted, I would carry a quiet shame about it, a sense that I had failed somehow, that a stronger believer would still be running on Sunday's spiritual fuel by Thursday. But your word tells a different story, Father. Lamentations 3:22-23 says that your mercies are new every morning. Every morning, not every Sunday, not every Monday, every single morning, which means every Tuesday is a new mercy. Every Wednesday holds a fresh supply. Every ordinary, unremarkable morning is a new invitation to receive what you have already prepared. This means, Father, that coming back to you this Tuesday morning is not a sign of spiritual weakness. It is actually the most spiritually mature thing I could do. It means I have understood something crucial, that your grace was never designed to be stockpiled. It was designed to be received daily, the way manna in the wilderness was gathered fresh every morning. Just enough, always enough, never old, never stale. I release this morning, Father, the subtle shame of needing you again so soon. I release the lie that consistent need is the same as insufficient faith. The most devoted people in Scripture came to you repeatedly. David poured out his heart to you daily. Jesus himself rose early and withdrew to pray, not because Sunday's prayer was insufficient, but because daily nearness to you is the design, not a backup plan for spiritual failures. So today, I embrace this truth with both hands. I am meant to come to you this Tuesday. I am meant to open my heart fresh this morning. I am meant to receive a joy that did not expire at midnight on Monday, but has been waiting here, new and full, since the moment this morning began. Your word in Isaiah 33:2 says, Lord, be gracious to us. We long for you. Be our strength every morning, our salvation in time of distress. Every morning, Father, not every week, not every season, every morning. Let me live from this truth today. Let me stop treating your joy like a limited resource and start receiving it the way you always intended, abundantly, freshly, continuously, like breathing, like sunlight, like the kind of love that does not keep score and does not run short. You're not tired of me returning to you. You are waiting for me to return to you. And that, Father, is the most freeing thing I have heard all week. Father, as this Tuesday unfolds before me, I want to ask for something that goes deeper than just a good day. I ask for wisdom, the kind that comes only from you, the kind that James 1:5 promises you give generously to anyone who asks, without finding fault, without making them feel foolish for needing it. Because this week will present choices, Father, some of them obvious, and some of them dressed up to look like obvious good things when they are actually subtle traps. There will be opportunities that look promising, but carry a hidden cost to my peace and purpose. There will be conversations that seem harmless, but will drain me if I engage in them carelessly. There will be paths that look like shortcuts, but lead somewhere that does not align with where you are taking me. I need your discernment, Father, not just for the dramatic decisions, but for the quiet daily ones. Help me to know when to say yes with enthusiasm and when to say no with grace. Help me to recognize the difference between an open door that carries your lightness and an open door that has my desperation written all over it, the kind I am tempted to walk through simply because something in me is tired of waiting. Protect me today from making decisions out of exhaustion rather than wisdom. Protect me from reaching for quick comfort instead of lasting peace. Protect me from the seductive logic of "this is probably fine," when your spirit is whispering something quieter and more careful. And on the other side of that, Father, give me the courage to walk boldly through the doors that are unmistakably yours. Sometimes wisdom does not hesitate us. Sometimes it calls us forward without all the answers in hand. Give me the courage to move when you say move, even when the path ahead is not fully visible. There are people I will cross paths with today, Father. Let me not move past them carelessly. Let me not be so absorbed in my own agenda that I miss the divine appointment dressed as an ordinary interaction. Let me not be so consumed by what I need today that I am blind to what someone near me might need even more. Guide my steps today. Guide my words. Guide the direction of my attention and the use of my limited energy. Let Tuesday be a day where I move with you rather than around you, where every decision, large and small, is made not from anxiety or ambition, but from the quiet, settled wisdom that flows from your presence. Father, I want to bring the people in my life before you this morning, because some of my heaviest Tuesday weight does not come from tasks or responsibilities. It comes from relationships, from the complicated, tender, sometimes painful reality of living in close proximity to other human beings who are also tired, also hurting, also carrying things they do not fully understand. There are people in my life right now who are difficult to love well, not because they are bad people, but because something in the current season of our relationship is strained. There are unspoken things hanging between us. There are expectations that haven't been met and hurts that have not been fully acknowledged. There are conversations that need to happen and conversations that need to stop happening. I bring those relationships to you now, Father. I don't come with clever strategies for fixing them. I come with honest hands and a tired heart, and I simply ask you to be at work in what I cannot reach. But I also want to ask specifically for what I need to carry into my interactions today. Give me patience that does not run out before noon. Give me the grace to respond rather than react, to pause that crucial half-second before my frustration becomes words I cannot unsay. Give me enough emotional generosity to give people the benefit of the doubt even when I am running low. If I encounter sharpness today, Lord, a colleague who communicates with more edge than kindness, a family member whose words land harder than they probably intended, a stranger whose impatience collides with my own, let me not receive it into the deepest part of me. Let your joy act as a kind of spiritual insulation around my heart, so that what comes at me from the outside does not immediately determine what lives on the inside. And Father, where I have been the one who has spoken carelessly, where my own tiredness has made me less generous or less kind than I should have been, I ask for your grace there too, not just your forgiveness, but the practical help to do better today, to be someone whose presence adds something rather than drains something, to be a voice that carries your light into rooms that might be running low on it. Where there is broken trust in my relationships, Father, bring healing in your way and your timing. Where there is chronic distance, bring reconnection when the time is right. Where there is an apology that needs to leave my mouth before the sun goes down today, give me the humility to offer it without pride getting in the way. Let me love the people in my world better today, Father, not perfectly, but better. Not in my own diminishing strength, but from the overflow of yours. Father, I want to bring my work before you this morning. The specific, sometimes tedious, sometimes meaningful, always demanding collection of things that fill the hours of my Tuesday. For some, listening to this prayer right now, that is a professional workplace, an office, a classroom, a job site, a screen full of tasks. For others, it is the home, the endless, invisible labor of caring for people who need you, managing a household, showing up consistently for those who depend on your presence without always being able to articulate what they need. Whatever the shape of my work today, Lord, I'm aware of how easy it is to move through it disconnected, to do the tasks without inhabiting them, to go through the motions without bringing my whole self, and more importantly, without inviting your whole self into them. There is something profound in Colossians 3:23 that I want to carry into my Tuesday. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. With all my heart, Father, not with my leftover energy, not with the fraction of myself that survives after I have given everything else away. With all of it, help me to find that quality of presence today, even in the tasks that do not feel significant, especially in the tasks that do not feel significant. Because I want to confess something honest to you, Father. Some of what is on my to-do list today does not excite me. Some of it feels repetitive and uninspiring. Some of it feels like treading water rather than moving forward. And in those moments, when I am halfway through something ordinary and I feel the familiar pull of restlessness, the whisper that I should be somewhere else doing something more meaningful, help me to find you there, in the middle of the ordinary, in the repetitive, in the unsexy, unglamorous, uncelebrated daily work that is actually the substance of most of life. Renew my sense of purpose today, Father, not by changing my circumstances, but by changing my perspective. Help me to see the work before me, not as a burden to endure, but as a contribution to make. Help me to find the quiet dignity in doing small things carefully and faithfully. And where there are genuine opportunities for creative problem-solving, meaningful contribution, or faithful excellence today, let me bring those things. Let my work carry something of your quality. Let the people I serve, whether they are clients, colleagues, students, or children, encounter something in my work today that feels different from the ordinary, something that reflects a source beyond my own talent. Let my Tuesday be productive, Father, not in a frantic way, but in the settled, purposeful way of someone who knows exactly who they are working for. Father, I want to pray something that I do not always give myself permission to pray. I want to ask for restoration, physical, emotional, and spiritual. For the actual tired body that showed up to this prayer this morning, for the worn edges of a heart that has been giving consistently without being consistently replenished. Because here is the truth that I sometimes feel guilty about acknowledging. I am tired, not in a way that sleep alone can fix, but in the deeper, accumulated way that comes from carrying emotional weight over long periods of time, the kind of tiredness that lives in the muscles of the shoulders even after a full night's rest, the kind that makes small inconveniences feel disproportionately heavy, the kind that makes it difficult to be fully present, fully generous, and fully joyful, no matter how much I want to be those things. Your word says in Proverbs 17:22 that a cheerful heart is good medicine. I receive that truth this morning, Father, not as pressure to perform cheerfulness, but as a genuine promise that the joy you give actually heals, that it reaches into the physical body, that it shifts the chemistry of a tired, anxious mind. That genuine God-sourced joy is not merely emotional, it is restorative at a level we do not fully understand. So I ask for it this morning as medicine, Father, genuine, practical, reaching into my tired body medicine. If there is a physical ailment this morning, chronic pain, persistent fatigue, illness that has been lingering and wearing me down, I ask for your healing touch. Soothe what is hurting, strengthen what has been weakened. Let your peace reach into the physical places where anxiety has been living as tension, as tightness, as a heaviness that I carry in my body because I have been carrying so much in my mind. And emotionally, Father, tend to the places that are raw, the spots where I have been wounded and not yet fully healed, the spaces inside me where something that should feel full keeps feeling empty, the tired emotional corners where cynicism has been quietly growing because hope has been repeatedly deferred. Give me fresh emotional reserves today, not because I deserve them more than yesterday, but because your mercies are new every morning, and today I am choosing to receive them. Fill the parts of me that have run low. Renew the places that feel depleted. Help me to come to the end of this Tuesday with something still left, still able to be present for the people I love, still able to be grateful, still able to find something beautiful in the ordinary details of the day. Let me be well today, Father, in every dimension of what that means. Father, I want to pray with authority this morning. Because your word is clear in John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And one of the most consistent things he tries to steal from your children is joy. Not dramatically, not usually in one large, obvious theft, but gradually, quietly through a slow accumulation of small discouragements, whispered doubts and subtle lies repeated just often enough to start feeling like the truth. I recognize the work of the enemy this morning. I recognize it in the voice that told me this prayer would not matter. I recognize it in the heaviness that settled on my chest before I even fully woke up. I recognize it in the thought pattern that immediately rehearsed every problem waiting for me before I had taken my first real breath of the day. I recognize it in the voice that has been suggesting, in its quiet and persistent way, that the gap between my life and my hope is simply too large to be crossed by faith. In the name of Jesus Christ, I say no to every one of those lies this morning. I do not say this with arrogance or self-sufficiency. I say it standing on the authority that your word says belongs to every child of God through Christ. I do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces, and the weapons available to me are not weapons of human strength. They are spiritual weapons. And chief among them this morning is the truth of your word standing in direct opposition to every lie the enemy has tried to plant in my mind. The lie that says I am too far gone to experience real joy today, I counter it with Romans 15:13, which promises that the God of hope fills us with all joy and peace as we trust in him. The lie that says my situation is too complicated for God to move in, I counter it with Jeremiah 32:27. I am the Lord, the God of all mankind. Is anything too hard for me? The lie that says joy is for other people in better circumstances with fewer complications. I counter it with the unambiguous promise of John 15:11 that Christ's own joy may be in me and that my joy may be complete. I reclaim what belongs to me this morning. The joy that was purchased for me at a price I could never afford, the peace that passes understanding, the settled confidence that comes from knowing I am held by someone who does not lose his grip. Let every dark thought that has no foundation in your truth be uprooted from my mind right now. Replace every empty space with the living, breathing, active truth of your word. Let your voice be louder in my spirit today than every voice that has been competing against it. My joy is not gone. It was never lost. It was simply waiting to be reclaimed, and I am reclaiming it this morning. Father, there is one more thief I need to name this morning, and it is the one that lives closest to home: comparison. In a world that streams a curated and continuous highlight reel of other people's lives directly into the palm of my hand, it has never been more difficult to stay peacefully anchored in the specific path you have carved out for me. I can look up from my own messy, unfinished, ordinary Tuesday and see a dozen different versions of a life that seems to be going better, moving faster, arriving sooner, and shining brighter. And when I do that, when I measure the interior reality of my own life against the exterior presentation of someone else's, joy cannot survive. It simply cannot. Because comparison is not a fair game, it is a rigged one. I am always measuring my most honest self against their most polished image. I am measuring my doubts against their declarations, my process against their outcome, my Tuesday against their highlight reel. So today, Father, I ask you to sever the root of comparison in my heart. Not just prune it back, but sever it, because I know how quickly it regrows when I am tired and scrolling and quietly feeling behind. Remind me of Psalm 139 this morning, that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that every day of my life was written in your book before one of them came to be, that my path is not identical to anyone else's because it was not designed to be. My story has your specific fingerprints on it. My season carries your specific purpose in it. And the joy available to me in my current circumstances is not a lesser version of someone else's. It is uniquely crafted for exactly who I am and exactly where you are taking me. Help me today to water my own grass rather than stare longingly over the fence. Help me to celebrate the victories of others with genuine gladness rather than secret anxiety. Help me to recognize the blessings already present in my own life, specific, personal, custom-fitted blessings that I regularly overlook because I'm too busy measuring what I do not have. My path is enough. My pace is enough. I am enough, not because I've achieved enough, but because I am yours. Father, I pray this morning about the spaces I will inhabit today, the rooms I will walk into, the conversations I will enter, the emotional atmosphere I will both encounter and contribute to. Because I know that the environment around me matters, but I also know that I am not merely a receiver of atmosphere. I am a carrier of it. Your Holy Spirit lives in me, which means wherever I go today, I carry the potential to shift something, not through loud proclamation or obvious religiosity, but through the quiet, steady, consistent presence of a spirit that is grounded in your joy. Where there is anxiety in the room, let the quality of my presence bring something steadier. Where there is heaviness, let there be something about my words and my countenance that offers a different possibility. Where there is chronic negativity or complaint, let me carry something that interrupts the pattern, not with irritating positivity, but with genuine contagious hope. Let my home be a place of rest today, Father. Let the people who live within it feel the difference that your presence makes through me. Let my workplace carry the evidence that one person there has been with you this morning. Not for my own credit, not for the sake of appearing spiritual, but because the world around me is hungry for what only your presence can offer, and I happen to be a vessel that is carrying it today. Father, I want to close this prayer with the most honest thing I can offer you. I want control. I want to know how things will end. I want the roadmap, the timeline, the guarantee. I want to understand, in advance, which investments of hope and energy are going to yield a return and which ones are going to require more patience than I currently feel I have. I am aware, as I say this, that this is not faith. It is its opposite. But I am saying it honestly before you because pretending it is not true would be the greater dishonesty. So here, on this Tuesday morning, I make a deliberate choice to do something that does not come naturally to me. I open my hands. I release the week ahead, not reluctantly, not with quiet resentment, but with an honest, effortful, faith-filled act of letting go. I release the outcomes I have been trying to manage through worry. I release the timeline I have been quietly negotiating with you. I release the specific shape I decided the answer should take, because I know that your answers often come in shapes I did not expect and would not have chosen. And they are better for it. Proverbs 19:21 says that many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Today, Lord, let your purpose prevail, even over my best laid plans, even over my carefully constructed hopes. Let what you intend for this week be exactly what happens, and give me the grace to receive it gladly, even if it looks nothing like what I asked for. There are things I have been waiting for, Father, some of them for a very long time, and the waiting has been hard, not because I doubt your power, but because the distance between promise and fulfillment is a long road to walk, and some mornings the road simply feels longer than others. This might be one of those mornings. If it is, then speak into the waiting today, not necessarily to end it, but to sustain me through it. Give me the kind of patient trust that does not become bitterness over time. Give me the joyful expectation of lamentations, 3:25. The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. Let me be a seeker today, Father. Let me be someone who finds you worth seeking, even when the answers are not yet visible. Let the joy of seeking you be itself a kind of answer, a daily renewable confirmation that even in the waiting, I'm not abandoned and not forgotten. Help me today to find deep gladness, not at the finish line, but in the walk itself, in the small, faithful daily steps of living in relationship with you, in the quiet moments where I feel your nearness even when I cannot see your answer, in the ordinary Tuesdays that are not milestones but are still quietly yours. I do not need everything resolved before this day ends, Father. I need you present while it unfolds. And you are. You always are. That is enough. You are enough. And I release this Tuesday into your perfectly capable hands with a heart that is choosing right now, in this moment, to trust you completely. Father, before I close this time of prayer, I want to do something that does not always come easily on a Tuesday morning. I want to thank you, not thank you for everything being resolved, not thank you because every burden I named in this prayer has already visibly lifted, not thank you because the path ahead is now perfectly clear. Thank you simply because you are who you are, because your character does not change with my circumstances, because your goodness was not contingent on my gratitude and is not diminished by my forgetting. Your word in 1 Thessalonians 5:18 instructs us to give thanks in all circumstances, not after all circumstances have been fixed, but in them, in the middle of them, from the inside of the Tuesday that has not yet revealed how it will end. And so I choose this kind of gratitude now, the grateful in advance, the grateful by faith, the kind of gratitude that is itself an act of trust. Thank you for the specific everyday mercies that I so easily overlook when I am rushing. The fact that I woke up this morning, the fact that I have access to your presence whenever I turn my heart toward you, the fact that your joy is available to me before I have done anything to earn it, and regardless of what I do to lose it. Thank you for what you are already doing behind the scenes of this week. The arrangements I cannot see, the alignments happening in the invisible spaces between this prayer and the answer. Thank you for the conversations that are being prepared, the opportunities that are being shaped, the small mercies that are already working their way toward me through channels I cannot track. Thank you for the people in my life, even the complicated ones, even the relationships that currently feel more like sandpaper than silk, because I trust that you are using every one of them to form something in me that gentler experiences could not produce. Thank you for this Tuesday specifically, not despite its ordinary weight, but including it, because you made this day, and your word says that is reason enough to be glad in it. Let this gratitude not be a prayer I feel, and then forget the moment I step back into the current of the day. Let it become a continuous, quiet current running beneath everything I do today. Let it be the thing that explains my peace to people who cannot understand why I am peaceful. Let it be the answer I give with my life to the question of whether trusting you is worth it. It is worth it, Father. It has always been worth it. And on this Tuesday morning, with everything still unresolved and everything still in process, I choose to say so clearly, you are good, you are faithful, you are here, and I am grateful. Dear friend, if you have stayed with me all the way to this moment on this Tuesday morning, I want you to know something important. What you just did matters. I know the inbox is full. I know there are voices and notifications and responsibilities that have been waiting patiently, and some not so patiently, while you were here. I know Tuesday does not offer the romantic permission of a fresh Monday start. I know that choosing to be in prayer when the day has already begun and the to-do list is already running takes a specific kind of faith and a specific kind of stubbornness. And you stayed. Something in you chose this over the noise. Something in you recognized that before you could give this day what it needs, You needed to receive what only God can give. And that quiet recognition is not small. That is discernment. That is spiritual maturity. That is the beginning of everything we prayed for today. I want to speak something over your life right now as we close. May this Tuesday be different from the ones you have simply endured. May the joy that we asked for in this prayer not evaporate the moment you close this video, but settle into your spirit like something that has found its home and is not easily displaced. May you encounter unexpected moments of grace today, small, specific evidences of a God who is paying attention to the details of your Tuesday. A conversation that lifts you when you needed lifting. A door that opens at exactly the right moment. A quiet internal shift in the middle of a difficult hour that you cannot fully explain, but that you will recognize as the signature of God's presence. May the people who encounter you today receive something from the interaction that they did not bring into it. May your presence be a quiet, consistent gift. May the burdens you released in this prayer stay released. And when you feel the familiar weight of them trying to return, may you have the spiritual muscle memory to open your hands again quickly, without shame, and give them back. And when this Tuesday is over, whether it was beautiful or difficult or simply ordinary, may you find yourself at the end of it with more gratitude than you arrived with, more trust than yesterday, more evidence in the quiet accounting of your own heart that walking through the week with God is the only way you ever want to walk through it. You are loved, you are held, you are known specifically and completely by a Father who does not lose track of you on Tuesdays. Step back into your day now, but take this with you. Before you go, if this prayer met you somewhere real this morning, if something in these words touched a part of your heart that you have been quietly carrying alone, I want to invite you to do one last thing. Type in the comments right now, simply, lifted. Not because it explains everything, not because the Tuesday weight is completely gone, but because something in your spirit through this time of prayer has been lifted, even slightly, even quietly. And naming that matters, declaring it matters. And sometimes the simple act of one person typing that word becomes the encouragement another person desperately needed when they were scrolling through the comments, wondering if they were the only one who needed this today. You are never the only one. If this prayer channel has become a part of how you begin your mornings, please subscribe and share it with someone who might need a Tuesday morning lifting too. We are not building a platform here. We are building something quieter and more lasting. A community of people who have decided that God's presence is the most important thing they can bring to any day of the week. May your Tuesday carry the fingerprints of the God who made it. May your heart stay lifted by a joy that does not come from what the day delivers, but from the one who walks through every hour of it beside you. We bring all of this before you, Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, our faithful mediator, and the source of every joy that lasts. God bless you today. Amen.